Hello, thank you for joining us today. We are some of the counselors at Mountain House High School. My name is Mrs. Russo. We also have Mr. Cronin on with us. Um, Today's format is just going to be question and answer. So if you are a parent joining us and you have not watched either the video that was sent out or reviewed the PowerPoint, it would be best to log off, watch that video. It's about 20 minutes long, and then join us for a different question and answer session because most questions are answered through that presentation. If you have questions about scheduling, please use either the link that you see on the screen, the tiny URL, that will take you to a Google form where you can enter your question, or you can scan the QR code, which also would take you to that Google form. All questions must be entered on the Google form. We will not be monitoring the chat super closely. So if you post something in the chat, we're probably going to miss it. So please utilize that Google form. So while we are waiting, I'm probably just going to talk through a couple of the common questions we got yesterday. One of the most common questions was about pathway classes. At Mountain House, we offer multiple different pathways that students can elect to take. We have our biomedical pathway, engineering, computer science, business, culinary, several different art pathways. Students are welcome to sign up for any pathway they are interested in. They do so by choosing the first level course in the pathway, and that can be found on the course list. Students are not required to take a pathway, but it's there as an elective option if they want to take it. Okay, so our first question is, what if my child misses the summer skipper? Will he still be able to ace Math 1 in 9th grade or go at the regular speed? So for those of you unaware, most of our freshmen start in Math 1, but we do offer one opportunity over the summer to complete our Math 1 Summer Skipper program. If your student takes the Math 1 Summer Skipper program and completes it, they are able to join either Math 2 or Math 2 Honors in their freshman year of high school. They must complete this summer skipper program in order to move to Math 2 or Math 2 Honors. There's no other way to advance. This is an in-person requirement. So some of the work will be able to be completed from home, but a majority of like the testing and that type of stuff is completed on campus. So if you have travel plans for the summer, your student may not be able to participate in the summer skipper program. We have not released information about it yet. So for now, just know that this is something that's happening. And when we have more information from the district office, we will send out a form to gather interest on who wants to participate. A reminder for those who may have just joined us, this is just a question and answer format. So if you have a question for the counselors about scheduling, please either use the QR code that you see, or you can type the URL into your browser. It's going to take you to a Google form, and you're going to put your question on that Google form.
So another question that we had was, are pathways / electives also counted towards GPA? Yes. So pathways are elective courses. That's going to count for elective credit. They are counted towards GPA. Second portion to that question is, if yes, then how is it optional to choose a pathway? It's optional to choose a pathway because it's an elective course. So it's not something that is required. Although it does go towards your GPA, all of the classes usually do. Well, most of them usually do. it's still optional in whether you choose certain pathway courses or not.
Just another note on the summer skipper program. Students potentially can travel during the summer. Typically, they like to try and start the course around March. And then they have until the end of July typically to finish that Math 1 summer skipper program. Depending on how much time your student spends on the course, they can finish it more quickly before that end of the July deadline. So if your student works a lot, between the months of March and May, maybe even into June a little bit, it's possible for them to finish the course early, but that is reliant on the student, and how much time they dedicate. Another common question that we get right now, we don't have any questions coming in through the form. So, if you guys got questions, go ahead and make sure you're filling out the Google form for us. But another common question we get is, are these course requests guaranteed? Is my child or my student guaranteed to have the courses that they're selecting? And at this time, this is just a course request. So they're going to put in their first choice options. We are going to do our best to give them their first choice options, but this is just a request. So we cannot guarantee any classes at this time. There are times when a class gets full or maybe conflicts with another class, and so your student's not able to have every single one of their first choices. For those of you who just joined us, please make sure you are using the QR code or the link on the screen. Please put your questions in the Google form that you see come up from that link. That's how we are going to be answering questions. We're not going to be really monitoring that chat too much, so please utilize the form. Okay, so we have a question. I think it's a follow-up to the last one that was just talked about in regards to pathways and GPA. So the question is, so does that mean GPA might be low if a student does not choose a pathway? What will they do in that elective period where they don't choose an elective? So no, your student's GPA is not impacted negatively if they don't choose a pathway. Your student's GPA is only based off of the courses that they sign up for. So students in their freshman year are required to take at least one elective, but they can take up to two. Okay, so when your student is picking their classes, if they're going to be choosing one elective and one flex period, which is a free period, they just need to choose whatever elective they're interested in, whether that's a world language, an art, a pathway class, leadership, yearbook. There's a lot to choose from. They need to utilize that course list and determine what is going to be the best thing for them. If they want to take two electives, they're more than welcome to do that. They just need to look through that course list and decide which two electives they want to participate in, whether that's a world language, an art, pathway, etc. I can see in the chat that someone asked if Math 1 is able to be completed privately through an institution like BYU. No, the only opportunity for advancement during the summer between 8th and 9th grade is by taking Mountain House's Math 1 Summer Skipper program. Everything else, community college classes, community service, everything else not allowed. The only option is that Math 1 Summer Skipper offered through Mountain House. I believe Mr. Cronin is trying to answer a question. I'm not able to hear him. If others are, please post it in the chat. I'll try and keep my eye out. But I'm going to go ahead and answer this. If you were able to hear Mr. Cronin, go ahead and just say, yeah, we could hear him. If not, let me know. But the question was, including the 2 electives, how many subjects are in the 9th grade? So students are able to take up to 7 classes. So in 9th grade, they will be taking English, biology, freshman PE, global studies, and then a semester of health. And then they'll be taking a math class. The final 2 classes are either 2 electives or 1 elective and 1 flex period. So as a reminder, make sure you're putting your questions in the Google form. The Google form can be found by using the link that you see on your screen or by scanning the QR code. I do see a question about parents receiving individual in-person appointments with the high school counselor. At this time, we're unable to meet with students and parents from 8th grade sites individually. This week, our Q&As. This is your opportunity to ask us questions. Next week on the 25th from 4 to 6:30, we'll be in person in the theater. You're welcome to check in with us at that time to ask some questions, but we can't do individual appointments. Once your student starts in August, at that point, you can start requesting an individual appointment for yourself or for your student. So we're not having very many questions coming through. We're just going to kind of sit and hang out in case we do have people jump on. But if you guys don't got questions, then we're kind of just going to sit back and wait to see if something comes up. Okay. So please utilize that form in order to submit your questions. Our next question is, what time are students released from school on a daily basis? So Monday through Thursday, our day starts at 8:30. However, breakfast is served 8 to 8:25. So if your student wants to come for breakfast, they're able to do that. But class time starts at 8:30 and we end our day at 3:45. On Fridays, students get out at 1:45. All that information is also located on the bell schedule on the Mountain House website. If your student is looking for recommendations on what they should be taking during their freshman year, it kind of depends on what they're interested in. We have a lot of really great pathways they can join. But also, if your student is interested in applying to 4-year colleges during their senior year, we recommend starting with their world language requirement or their visual or performing arts requirement. In order to apply to colleges, your student's going to need to complete 2 years of a world language. So that would be Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, for example, and they will also need a visual or performing arts. A common question we get is culinary arts. Does that fulfill visual or performing arts? No, that's our cooking class. Unfortunately, it doesn't fulfill that category, even though it is confusing because it does have arts in the name.
Another question was, how long are the school hours? So school hours 8:30 to 3:45, and then Friday the students get out at 1:45. And again, we have that on our website under the bell schedule as well if you want to check that out.
Our next question is, what is a visual or performing art? So a visual or performing art is one of the categories that students need to fulfill for graduation and for four-year eligibility. So for graduation purposes, they need to take a world language or a visual or performing art. For college, as I was saying a few minutes ago, they need both. So they need the 2 years of the world language and they need 1 year of a visual or performing art. Our visual or performing art classes are going to be, we have several on this campus, Art 1, ceramics, digital arts, media arts, drama, band, dance, choir. So there's plenty for students to choose from. They just need to choose, whichever one they're most interested in, and they'll fulfill the requirement that way. Our next question is, what is the MAP test score needed in order to participate in the summer skipper course so they can join Math 2 Honors as a ninth grader? There is no MAP score requirement in order to join that summer skipper course. That is self-elected, so if your student feels prepared to take it, they're welcome to join that course as long as they complete with a passing grade that's C or above for both semesters. They will have the opportunity to choose either Math 2 or Math 2 Honors for their freshman year. Mrs. Islami has posted the four-year planning guide in the chat. Also, a few other links to like the bell schedule in certain places. That four-year planning guide is a really helpful tool for students who are interested in trying to map out their 4 years of high school. On that guide, it should have our graduation requirements and also have the 4-year eligibility college requirements. So that'll help guide them to make sure that they're completing the requirements needed. However, counselors each year during this time are reviewing students for graduation requirements and for 4-year eligibility requirements. So typically, if we see your student deviating from that path, we will reach out to your student directly, and usually we also reach out to the parent directly to let them know, hey, we recommend you take such and such course in order to be on track for either graduation or 4-year eligibility.
Our next question was, my 8th grader is in orchestra, which happens in MHHS. So her one elective will be orchestra, and she will have the option to choose a professional pathway as elective. Yes. So if she has orchestra, she still has one other spot to fill if all of her classes work out together. So she can go ahead and choose another elective of her choice, whether that is a pathway or not.
For those of you who may have joined us late, we are not presenting any specific material today. It's just a question answer format. If you have questions for a counselor, please submit them on the Google form using the link or the QR code that you see. And we'll just keep on answering questions as they come in. All right. Our next question is, would language classes outside of the school count as language credit, like Punjabi or Tamil? So, yes, we have a few language academies that are what's called principal certified. So that means Mountain House is saying that we approve these courses to be added to the Mountain House transcript. Right now, we have Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, and Punjabi. This information is on the website. And if your student is completing classes through one of those approved language academies, yes, they can earn world language credit on their high school transcript.
So 2 other questions that I'm kind of seeing. So can a student choose band, orchestra, choir, etc., without prior knowledge? And then the next one would be, what are the prerequisites for pathway programs? So those kind of go together in the sense that I would direct you to our course catalog on our website, because if you go there, there's course descriptions that you can look at, and they list the prerequisites for each class. So that would be a useful tool for you to look at when you're helping your student request courses for next year. Look at those prerequisites that are for certain pathways, for certain electives, like anything musical, even visual and performing arts. For example, Art 2 isn't something that they would go into first because they would need Art 1. That's something that would be listed in that course catalog in those course descriptions. So you can find that on our website. We have it under counseling, and I believe it's under another section on our website. But if you go under counseling on our website, you can find the course catalog and click the link for the course descriptions, and it'll give you all of those prerequisites and extra information that you need.
Mm-hmm. As a reminder, next week is our curriculum fair from 6 to 8. This is a really great time to come and ask specific pathway questions about maybe what is taught during that pathway, or just wanting to learn more about it. This would also be a great time to come and ask about the band, orchestra, choir. I believe that you can join these classes without prior experience. I think typically they try to have an advanced level and then a beginner level. So it kind of depends each year on how many students we have. But yes, they shouldn't need a significant amount of prior knowledge in one of those subject matters to join the class. But again, come to that curriculum fair on the 25th, have an opportunity to talk with either our band or our choir teacher, and they'll be able to share all the details about joining one of those programs. If you haven't had a chance to visit our website, under the counseling section, we do have a lot of helpful resources. So if you need any information regarding scheduling and picking classes for next year, you can go to the course selection section of the counseling webpage. There's also a lot of really helpful resources under counseling and the counseling blog. We have a lot of college-related resources and previous presentations and workshops we've given. So if your student is really interested in applying to four-year colleges during their senior year and kind of want to get a head start on what they need in order to do that, tell them to check out counseling blog college workshops, because they're going to find basically every topic that that they need to know about is covered. We've done a previous presentation on. So check out the website. There's a plethora of information for them to look through on there. And again, we're kind of just sitting around because we haven't gotten any questions on our Google form. If you do not have any more questions, you do not have to stick around. You're more than welcome to if you want. We're going to just keep our eye out and see if more questions are submitted. Another question about the Summer Skipper program and what that schedule is going to look like. The district office has not released this information to us. So, unfortunately, at this time, the only thing we know is that it is happening. Last year, they released the program starting in about March, and students had until the end of July to complete that Summer Skipper. I'm going to guess it's probably going to be a similar format this year, but they have not released any specifics. Once we have that information from the district office, we will send out an announcement to the community.
We have a question. When will the selection of pathway be open in Aries? So if you're talking about the pathway courses, those are going to be elective courses, and that selection is open. That's just going to be part of our course request. They would simply just pick the intro course to whatever pathway that they would want, and that is how you enter into a pathway. That is going to be open until February 1st.
Our next question is there a mapping of courses and pathways they apply to? So there's kind of two ways you can look at this. If you go to our course list, the anticipated course list, at the bottom, you're going to find our electives, and they'll be partially broken up by the pathway that they're in. So you'll see engineering pathway, you'll see computer science pathway. Typically, they have 4 classes listed in it. They are going to list it in order that they are taught, right? So for engineering, you're going to start with Intro to Engineering. And then also on the website, we have a specific pathways page, which was just linked in the chat there. So you can use that link. On that page as well, you are going to see the breakdown of the different courses. These courses and these pathways must be completed as designed. So there is no jumping to the 3rd course because your student feels like they're prepared. If they want to be part of our pathway, they must take the courses with us as designed. Pathways can be started in 9th or 10th grade, and you will have time to complete the full pathway. If you start a pathway in 11th or 12th grade, you're able to do so, but you won't have time to complete the full pathway. So our next question is there a way to take Math 2 for my 8th grade over the summer just for review purposes? So no, we don't open any of our classes over the summer for students to review. If you wanted to speak with our math department at the curriculum fair next week, you can probably get a copy of the syllabus and see what they're going to be teaching in Math 2. That would give them your student the opportunity to kind of do some self-research to explore those topics over the summer. But as far as opening up the course in order to review the material, that's not something that we do. So our next question, and you may have to resubmit this to clarify, but are regional languages also counted against world language, and how are they credited if classes taken off campus? So I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning by that. So if you mean regional languages like our approved language academies, that would be the Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, and Punjabi. Those have been specially approved by our high school in order to be added to the high school transcript. So if your student is taking one of those pre-approved language academies outside of Mountain House, yes, they can have that credit added to their high school transcript. Outside of that, if they want to take a world language that we do not offer here, for example, American Sign Language, we do not offer American Sign Language. If your student is interested in that course, they can take American Sign Language with an outside institution. If they do not take a world language at Mountain House, then we will articulate that outside world language. But if your student signs up for Spanish 1 and decides to take American Sign Language outside of Mountain House, they are just going to be earning that credit outside of Mountain House. It won't be added to their Mountain House transcript. It's only if they do not take a world language with us. If your student is thinking about this plan, taking a world language outside of Mountain House High School, I highly recommend that they speak with their counselor when they start here with us at the high school, so we can kind of talk through what that looks like and if it's possible for that to fulfill college requirements. Next question is the list of courses to choose visible in Aries parent portal? So students need to log into their student portal in order to complete the course request. Parents do not have access to the course request in Aries. When your student is in their student account under course requests, they will be able to search and see classes in there. If you want to see our full list of classes, that's available on the website under course selection. Next question is, if a student takes English honors in 9th grade, can he take regular English in 10th grade? Yes, students can move from honors to regular with, depending on the year, what works best for them. So they can take English 9 honors and then decide, wow, that was really challenging. I didn't enjoy that as much as I thought, and just take regular English 10 the following year. Or they can do vice versa. They can take regular English 9 as a freshman, and maybe they think, wow, that was really easy. I want more of a challenge. They can choose to take English 10 honors in their 10th grade year. There are some honors courses that are tied together. For example, our Math 3 honors class, students need to take Math 3 honors in order to move directly into AP Calculus. They cannot go from Math 3 into AP Calculus. So there are some that are connected, but in the social studies and English category, they're not connected year to year, so they can choose each year which level they feel like they're most prepared for. Another question is, what are the options after a student takes AP Calculus BC? So for our math, our advanced math, we have our AP Calculus AB. That would be the first course they need to take. And then once they've taken that one, they can move on to AP Calculus BC. We also offer AP Statistics. So if they've completed AB and BC in calculus, they can move on to AP Statistics. We have regular statistics. So yeah, this one, it looks like your student is potentially going to be taking AP Calculus BC in 10th grade. That's not very common. So, that might be a plan that you guys have been tracked on already for several years now. But if that is the case, if your student completes BC in 10th grade, in 11th grade, they can take AP Statistics. Once they've done that, they've pretty much completed all the math that we have to offer, and they just need to look at other elective opportunities. Next question, can I transfer from honors to regular within the semester? So when your students are signing up for their classes, they are making a year-long commitment. So they need to choose the course that they feel like they're most prepared for and commit to that for the full year. Students are going to get their official schedule at walkthrough registration at the end of July. At that point, counselors will be available at walkthrough registration. You can come see us, and if you need to make a change at that point, we can try to change it, but really it just depends on what's available at that time. We are a school of over 2,300 students at this point, so we do not have a lot of movement available. So please make your selections based off of what you want during this time. If it's wrong, come see us in July and we'll try and get it fixed for you. At the semester mark, so after fall semester is completed, it might be possible to drop from like an English 9 honors into regular English 9. However, it's going to be dependent on availability. And like I said, we are a school of over 2,300 students at this point. There is not very much movement that can happen. So it is possible, but it's not very likely. So our next question is, how are AP classes different from honors classes? So there's a couple of similarities and some distinct differences. AP and honors courses are both going to be the advanced level of the course. So that means there is going to be more material covered in those classes. So students are going to be required to have a higher expectation for homework. For regular level courses, we say to expect about 30 minutes of homework per night per class. For an honors or an AP class, we say to expect about an hour of homework per night per class. Now that's going to vary depending on the time of the year, but that's just going to give you a general idea. AP and honors classes are different because the AP course prepares students for the AP exam in May. The AP exam is something that they sign up for and take. They're not required to take it. However, it's highly encouraged because if you're taking the AP class, that's what it's preparing you for. If your student passes that AP exam, they will earn college credit for that class that they've taken. Honors level classes don't have that opportunity, okay? Both honors and AP are going to give your student that GPA bump that you hear about. They are on the weighted scale. So that means when they earn an A, they're going to earn 5 points to their GPA, a B, 4 points, a C, 3 points, and so on. In a regular level course, you earn 4 points for an A, 3 points for a B, and so on. So when you hear students having a GPA above a 4.0, they accomplished that by taking honors and AP classes while they were in high school.
Another question that we had was, can students take world language and musical arts in ninth grade and get credits for both? Yes. So if they choose a world language and they decide to choose a visual or performing art, musical or any, whatever you want to call that, if they choose those two for their electives, they'll get credit for both. They have spots for two electives. So if they were to do, say, Spanish 1 and marching band or something like that, or something like a guitar, art 1, any of those as their second elective, you would get credit for both.
So we don't have any more questions coming through, so we might be ending this a little bit early. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to see if anything comes through. But yeah, we'll probably be cutting this off a little bit early. We do have additional virtual sessions for the remainder of the week, and we also have our in-person session on the 25th. On the 25th, we are going to be presenting the material that was sent out, so that that PowerPoint presentation. So if you've already watched that, there's really no need to come to that 25th session in person. We will also be doing a question and answer for the time that we have. But again, you can get your questions answered by coming to the Q&A either tomorrow or Friday if it wasn't addressed today. All right, our next question is, can students start taking Spanish 1 classes this summer, either online or in person? No, as a reminder, there are no advancement opportunities to take in the summer between 8th and 9th grade. The only option is that Math 1 summer skipper offered through Mountain House. So there is no other math, there is no other world language, anything that they can do at Delta or community colleges, community service, none of that is available during the summer, except that Math 1 summer skipper program. Next question, how can we choose both world language and a visual or performing arts? Is it possible in the 9th grade? Yes, students have the option to take up to 2 elective classes, so they can take Spanish 1 or whatever world language they're interested in, and a visual or performing arts, so Art 1, for example. You can take both in your freshman year. Our next question is, can we see 9th grade subjects anywhere in the portal? If you mean the like 9th grade, like what they should be signing up for 9th grade, it's not necessarily in their Aries portal. The only thing they should see in their Aries portal when they log into the course request section is they're going to see Math 1, they're going to see freshman PE, and they're going to see global studies. And that's because it's a requirement for all students and there's no flexibility there. If your student is currently in Math 1, they can put in either Math 2 or Math 2 Honors. Just leave the Math 1 alone. We'll delete that at a later time. But that's only for students who are currently in Math 1. So if you're thinking about the summer skipper, just leave Math 1 there. That'll be changed at a later time once you've completed that course. Otherwise, to see the subjects, just go back to that PowerPoint presentation that was sent out, or you can watch the video. The courses that they're taking in 9th grade are available there. There's also that 4-year planning guide that was linked in the chat. You can go there as well and kind of get an idea of what freshmen, well, all years look like. Mrs. Salami also just posted the anticipated course list. So you're welcome to see all classes that we anticipate to offer next year listed on that course list. Oh, okay. So the question was, can we see the syllabus for these subjects? So counselors do not have access to the syllabus. The closest thing to the syllabus is going to be the course descriptions in the course catalog. Course catalog is located under the academics section of the website. You can also use the search bar in the top right-hand corner, type in course catalog, and it'll pop up for you that way if you can't find it. If you want the actual syllabus, you would have to speak with the teacher, and the best way to do that is by coming to that curriculum fair next year and see if that's something they're willing to share at this time. Alrighty, guys. So that completes our questions. I'm not seeing any more come through. So we are going to end this session today. If you did not have your question answered, or if you have a new question tomorrow morning, you're welcome to join one of our sessions on Thursday or Friday, or come see us on the 25th in person. Otherwise, we hope you have a great rest of your week, and we can't wait to see your students next year.